Health insurance is a debt machine. I was watching a video earlier, and it was a kind of a reaction video. One of my favorite channels I watch, Jack Morgan, and it was about how basically everyone's getting rid of their health care. Everyone's getting rid of health insurance. There's literally people out there paying $2,000 a month for health insurance for like a family of 3 or 4. You know, they start throwing these premiums, deductibles, and they raise it, even if you don't use it. You're paying $2,000 a month just so when you go to the doctor, you only have to pay a co-payment. But even if something severely happens to you, you still have to pay $6,000 for a deductible so they can quote-unquote cover the rest, whatever it may be. I've always felt that insurance in general is overall, you're the losing party in it. Nothing exists for you to pay on a monthly basis that benefits you more than the company. That benefits you more than, you know, the shareholder, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's the reason why some CEOs get shot. Now, it's wrong, but you know what? I've seen it firsthand. My mom for the past few years has had a lot of health issues, and it's not really gotten better, but she's been just in the emergency room like 3 times in the past 5 or 6 months. And it's caused a lot of financial constraint in the terms of my dad, through his company, you know, part of one of the benefits of his job is he has health insurance through his job. But the issue is paying out of the ass, oh yeah, come in for another visit, come in, and you're paying this, you're paying that on top of that. You got another visit, they don't know what's wrong with you, but come back in a week, we got this. Oh, we'll send you to this specialist, and that's 2 hours away. You go there, they can't find what's wrong with you, so you go back to your primary. Then you go there, and it's this endless cycle of, they just send you around, so they just, you know, monopoly, you know, every time you pass go, you collect 200. That's basically what these doctor's office visits are. And look, there's probably some people out there that they have so many health issues that if they didn't have health insurance, like, they wouldn't even be serviced, but legally they still have to service you. But the system is really, and I'm not going to get into the society versus the system type of thing, but I think it speaks for itself. When you're paying $2,000 a month for something that you might need, you should only be paying an extreme amount for stuff that you actually use and that you need. Insurance is one of those things where they make it illegal to not have health insurance, where if you don't have health insurance, technically you're supposed to pay a fee every year or whatever. If you don't have car insurance, it's illegal to drive without car insurance. If, you know, there's all these insurance things. You got to pay insurance. You have to pay renter's insurance. You got to pay insurance for a house that you're already paying, which insured that you own in the house. You know, they just add the word insurance to everything for the worst case scenario. Well, just in case. Well, do the math, right? I actually had health insurance through my job when I worked at FedEx, when I actually became a legitimate position where they, you know, offered it. And it was actually a pretty decent deal. I probably paid like $30 a week out of my check they took out, which, you know, wasn't, you barely even notice it. So probably like $150 a month, you know, when you add every little thing up for health insurance just for me. I never used it, but, you know, doing the math, they took $150 out a month, relatively, and over 12 months, what is that? I'm literally doing this off the top of my head, what, like 1,700, 1,800? Not a single thing happened to me where I needed to go to the... So, you know, $150 a month, that extra 1,800 would have been nice. They should have it where if you have it and you go like 6 months without ever having to use it, you should probably get like a percentage back or rewards, or, you know, a fucking credit or some shit. Or you get a free couple doctor's visits, you know, whatever the fuck. But nah, it's illegal if you don't have it. That's the stupid part of the shit. Insurance is really a luxury in society, but it is primary in the sense that it is required. And the fucked up part is, I've seen it, it literally has caused such a and I know my dad's not the only one that caused financial stress. It's across the board, because now I'm seeing online. I was ahead of the curve when, you know, if my job didn't offer it, I wouldn't have it. And I don't have health insurance now. I don't give a fuck what people know. You know, and my girlfriend, she's very adamant about, oh, I can't, you know, you need to get health insurance. You know, I'm like, what's the point of paying for something that I can't afford? Adding an expense that I don't use. Like, honestly, if something happens to me with or without insurance, I'm kind of fucked anyways. I really want to break down into it. Like, owing a couple thousand more if something serious happens doesn't really matter at the end of the day if you really break it down. Because what I'm paying, the extra financial stress that it comes out every month when you can't really afford it at a period of time when it's not really necessary, makes your quality of life worse, and it's just an added stress that you don't really need. And I don't want to be that guy that says, oh, medicine's a scam and all that stuff. What I think, what the health insurance system incentivizes is, because it's required, since people have it, if you give people something, and it's not free of course, but if you give someone, if you're somewhere and they're giving out free samples, it's gonna, the point of it is they're incentivizing you, like, hey, since you're already paying hundreds of dollars, here's a free sample. Like, hey, since you're paying hundreds of bucks a month for something that you're literally not using in 98% of cases, hey, you know what? You get a cheap doctor's visit. You have to only pay 75 bucks to come to the doctor because you don't feel well. They convince you that you need yearly checkups, which I get as you get older. You know, you should get your blood work and all that stuff done here and there. But every time I've gone to the doctor for a checkup in the last like 8 to 10 years, one, it's always been a terrible experience. Either the doctor is like annoyed, they don't really treat checkups serious, all they do is, you know, do the hard thing. They check your testes if you know you have a lump or something. And, you know, they just do basic physical stuff, and you're really just, you're wasting their time. They're like, you know, I got a kid out here with an open scab on his eyeball, but you know, hey, you wanted to come in today just because you wanted a physical? Okay, cool story, bro. The health insurance system, it's so absurd, and the worst part is people see these prices and stuff, and they're still trying to convince you that you need health insurance. We all the money we put into insurance and co-payments, if we reinvested that into our health and actually maybe invest it into like an account that will actually grow your money, you would rarely need to go. You invest in your health and food. But we visit doctor's office, we fix doctor's offices with such comfort. Like we visit it like we're going to church or something. Like it's just some, hey, I'm at the, like, you don't, the doctor's office is not somewhere you want to be. It's not something you go just like, hey, you know, it's been a couple months, I just want to see some shit, you know? It should really only be a need-to-know basis type of situation. It should be a situationship. You in the hospital and the doctor's office should be a situationship. Should never be a full-time commitment, right? It never goes well. Because once you're married to the game, you know, they get you on drugs, they get you on this, they get you attached to the experience of being cared for. And I actually have a theory. I think the reason why a lot of people love going to the doctors and hospital and stuff, even for the smallest things, people become hospital experts, you know, wiki.com. They become internet doctors and stuff, and so they become obsessed over every symptom you have and stuff like that, is because maybe in the real world or maybe at home in their family, a lot of people aren't really valued. You know, people are taken for granted, they're not really taken care of or whatever. They go to the doctor's office, they're paid, you know, they're required to take care of you and make you feel seen. And I do feel like a lot of people, they love going to the doctor. They actually like having health issues, as fucked up as that sounds. I'm not talking about the serious shit. I'm talking about people that kind of, you know, I have a you know, lower back pain. It's like, yeah, you never stretch. What do you think's gonna happen, bro? They have this, they like they love, oh, I have an elbow flare, I think I have elbow tendinitis and shit. And I think they love going just for someone, you know, not to touch them like that, but just to feel like someone's paying attention to, you know, their flaws, because the world is so hypercritical. I know that's a little psyop and that's a little too deep into it, but I don't think it's a crazy, you know, idea. I don't think it's a crazy theory to think that. My thing that I'm getting kind of, that annoys me about insurance is, if you really break it down, if you're paying insurance for 5+ years and you're not really using it, think of all the money that you spent on insurance. Let's say for a family, let's just say you and your partner. Most people are paying a lot more than $150 a month. I was pretty fortunate. But most people are paying just for themselves. I've seen $300 to $400 a month on insurance per person. Family of 4, you're paying $1,500, $2,000 in some of these fucking cases. For fucking what? You're literally paying for a crisis potential situation. Which, honestly, even if a crisis situation happens every 3 to 4 years, let's just say, all that money that you paid in insurance, if you were to do the math, whatever that thing was, if you just put all that money aside, you would be able to just use half of that money to pay for whatever emergency surgery or emergency situation in most cases. And the other half, you can actually just have it, save it. But no, because they have to find a way to funnel as much money that you may be willing to save and invest and create and grow for yourself. And we put it into this kind of BS system. It's ridiculous. And it causes nothing but financial stress because it's required. Because you don't want to be the asshole who doesn't have insurance for the kids. That is irresponsible. You know, you have kids. Kids are more likely to get sick. Their immune system is not strong. They're going to get sick a lot more. Whatever. But as an adult, your immune system should be pretty well if you keep your health together. You should have a good knowledge of how to take care of yourself. Hydration, eating well, sleep. Like, you should know this stuff. So where your visits to the doctor should be very minimal for small things. You should really go to the doctor if like something is severely wrong, you know, or an accident happens or something. But we are just so, it's so conditioned in us to just, we have to have insurance. And ironically, to the next point, the thing that's supposed to insure you, that makes you feel safe if anything happens, it only causes more stress, which in result makes you unwell, which feeds into the cycle of always relying on it. Yeah, look, man, but ironically, the thing that's supposed to insure you, that makes you feel safe if anything happens, it only causes more stress. Yeah, it's that false sense of security. I would say, to give an example, it is like if a girl is with a guy who's physically strong and looks like he could defend her and stuff like that. Like, hey, if anyone come, like, you're safe with me. And, but not realizing that those things, those characteristics also put you in danger as well. If, like, oh, he's kind of a loose cannon, you know, he could get mad like that. Anyone that, you know, he's hyper controlling, he's hyper defensive of me, he wouldn't let anything happen, which, you know, could possibly result in him doing things. You know, not making light of that, but, you know, guys are crazy. So for me, it's just nothing I would get. I don't view myself ever having health insurance, ever. I think the number one thing you should always do from an insurance standpoint, from a retirement standpoint, or anything like that, from a credit standpoint, your number one advantage, do not let people tell you that it's debt. People that say you use debt for leverage, you better have money if you're going to use debt for leverage. You got to have money to actually use debt. Alright? The number one thing is make a lot of fucking money. so you can afford unfortunate events that happen. That will solve a lot of your fucking issues. Because what insurance, what credit cards, what these loans, with these banks, with these loans and stuff like that, with these jobs that pay a certain way, so you always need to work there, so you have to work an exorbitant amount to maintain. You need to stop being reliant on these things to function. Because it's all like, we're happy to help you in these hard times and all that shit. And then they slip a $9,000 bill. It's like, what's the point of insurance if I'm still paying $9,000 fucking dollars for something? I understand it doesn't cover fucking everything, but what the fuck does it cover? Jesus Christ. I think we have just become so accustomed, and people with money will tell you that's just, you gotta be willing to protect your health and stuff and like that. And poor people can't really afford it, but if they don't have it, if something happens, you're fucked as well. So it's really, insurance doesn't really benefit anyone except the actual health insurance companies. Insurance wasn't created to quote unquote because they care about your health. It's a way, for one, it's easier to track your health. It's easier to monitor payments, easier to monitor policies. Like these insurance places in general, like think about car insurance. Think about when you have the least amount of money in your life, which is typically when you're 17, 18, 20 through 25, 28 even. Man, they're gonna fucking, for the most bare minimum insurance, you're paying $250, depending on the vehicle. Even if you get a beat up fucking car. I remember my first vehicle was a 2000, my first vehicle that actually, worked. A 2002 Pontiac Sunfire. I had liability insurance. And I was paying $240 a month. Because I had no recent driving record or nothing like that. We're liability. If it would have been full coverage, we're talking about like $350 bucks. For a 2002 vehicle, that engine ended up blowing out like a year later, Now, I have a paid off vehicle I've driven for the past essentially 10 plus years. And my insurance for full coverage, for absolute full coverage, today is like $150 bucks, which is still not really the cheapest. But when I first got my vehicle, insurance with another company was like for full coverage. It started at like $240 some, and then over time, hey, we took $10 off this year. Even though I rarely have ever gotten a speeding ticket, I've never been in an accident, I've never had any never had any issues. With my brother, they raised his insurance and he had no driving record. My parents, and this out, like when you're so deep, yeah, my dad, man, he's had some of the weirdest fucking shit over the years and stuff. Like nothing like bad accidents, but just some of the most dumbest stuff. Like he backed into a Sonic sign one time and all this stuff. You know how much like their insurance was combined, because they had like a combined marital plan? Like $90. When you're old as fuck, not literally, but you know what I mean. For some reason, like the older you get, there's like, whatever, just pay with whatever change you have in the car, But with us young buckaroos, because I guess we're more at risk type of thing, you're more of a liability, no pun intended. There's like, yeah, when you're the poorest, we're going to take the most from you. But then, once you get established and all this stuff, yeah, we don't need nothing from you. We'll just take from the poor, It's such a fucked up system. And I understand risks with younger people, but what it should do is, it should be like a very direct system when you sign up for insurance. Be like, hey, if you have no violations, then they should have like Class A, Class B, Class C violations. Like, if you have less than 2 speeding tickets and none of them are severe, none of them are super speeders or something like that, you get automatically a 15% discount for a year. You know, it should be relatively updated like every 2 years. If you've had a clean driving record, no accidents, no nothing, you should be rewarded, whether it's a percentage or you get like 3 months free insurance or you get a credit or something. Because what is the point of paying for something I never fucking use? And they're just like, hey, thank you for staying with State Farm. You're like, I literally forgot I even have your app on my phone because that's how much I don't fucking use it. Like, I've seen the stress of having to deal with insurance companies firsthand, like when you have an accident or you have to change policies or this, that, and the other happen. Trying to talk to these insurance companies when you have accidents and you're settling in accidents, man, that shit is stressful as fuck, and I hope to never have to deal with that. Because it's like the one time I actually need you to be by my side, I basically have donated you fucking money for years and years and years. Then when I need you, I'm not even at fault, and you motherfuckers are sitting there being like, yeah, you know, your policy says we can only cover $2,500. It's like, bro, I was at a red light, and this old ass bitch wasn't paying attention, you know? They're like, yeah, but we can only cover 40% of it because of this, because since when you switch policies and you get that discount, it took away this portion of your protection plan, and you're like, oh, go fuck yourself, you know? And all these insurances, all these technicalities, because they know no one fucking reads the shit. We just give money and give money, we don't read the fine fucking print. But hey, you have health insurance, so I'm doing my part. I have car insurance, I'm doing my part. And I'm not advocating to drive without car insurance, because it is illegal, and if something happens, it's more of the other person that's fucked than you. But still, we shouldn't be absolutely getting hosed with car. It's literally just donating fucking money. Think about the past, I literally thought about this, the past 10 years of my life. I've thought about, you know, let's say because I averaged like 200 plus in insurance for a long time, and then the past year and a half or so it's been a little under, now it's like 150 something. So relatively, let's just say 200 bucks a month if you average it all out. We'll round it down, because I know it's actually higher. And let's not forget the car payment, but you know, you gotta pay to fucking drive the car. But paying 200 bucks a month, you got 12 months out of the year, that's $2,400, all right? Multiply that by 10 years. You have paid $24,000 fucking dollars for the maybe something might happen. Maybe. And let's say something happened one fucking time. Let's say a severe accident, you're out of a car, but you have gap insurance, so $4,000 you have to pay out of pocket, they cover the rest, whatever the fuck, you have to get a new car. Even if you have to buy another vehicle for $6,000 and start over, that is still half of your fucking money just gone for the sake of it being fucking gone. I'm not saying you would have done and invested that in a growth account or nothing like that. What I am fucking saying is, it would be nice to have an extra $12,000 fucking dollars, or for me, I don't know, $24,000 fucking dollars. And think about that with insurance. Imagine you're paying insurance on multiple things that you don't even fucking use. That's like 50K. If you're one of these people paying $2K a month for health insurance, and then on top of that, car insurance, well, $2K a month is fucking insane. But Jesus Christ, you get what I'm saying here. We are just donating fucking money. Just cuz. Just to be like, hey. It's like, charge people that abuse the system and are actually getting in fucking accidents and doing stupid shit all the time and being reckless. Those are people that should be paying $300, $200, $300 a month. Like, your rate in insurance should only be of what you actually, how frequently you actually need it and use it. Like, I don't know. Probably just move on to the next topic. God. Whew, insurance gets me heated, man. And I was on this ball a long time ago, and you always get that side eye when you're like, yeah, I don't have insurance. So like, oh, you just don't give a fuck about yourself. It's like, no, actually I do. That's why I don't really need it, you know? It's always from people that don't drink any fucking water that are sitting there like, so you just don't really care about your future, your health. It's like, I haven't gone to the doctor for a regular checkup in probably like 3 to 4 years on my own merit. I've only had to go to the doctor's office twice, and one of them was because it was mandated by my job to get a drug test before I got a position. And the other time, I don't even fucking remember. I think it was actually just to drop someone off at the hospital. It wasn't even for me. God, you know,